All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on the wagon. Welcome back for another brand new episode of the Beyond Position podcast. Yeah. For now, your two most favorite co-hosts, but originally three. Hopefully, Brad will come in through Willis while we're filming this episode. He's out and about doing something real quick, so hopefully he'll slide through in time. But welcome back for another brand new episode of the Beyond Position podcast with me and my boy Brett, aka the White Rhino.
Yo,
man, feels different. Do we want to? We start this conversation with: do we feel a difference here? Different present. As you can tell,
I'm just gonna kick back and relax a little bit.
Get yourself situated.
My patriotic drip.
Oh yeah, dude, he's oozing just freedom and power. I guess we could say, right? With the gold chain too. Wow,
gold chain. Yeah,
the gold bracelet.
I got it all rocking today,
damn, dude. He's just missing like an American flag fat chain pendant, Cuban link with like an American flag all diamond out. That's all he's missing.
Yeah, with some eagles, some American eagles dropping freedom bombs.
Oh, yeah. So how you doing today, brother? Though, how you feeling?
Man, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. Yourself?
Doing good, man. It's a little cold out there, but hey, that's just the part of winter we're going through, right? I memean, we're almost. It's crazy to think. I mean, 2025. We're already through January. We're about to enter February, the month of love, as they say.
That's right.
So yeah, man. I mean, it's this time. Time is flying, but yeah, nonetheless, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Yeah, I know it is chilly. That's why I had to throw on the wool today.
Little native vibe in there too, as it too, right?
Yeah, this is Pendleton Chief Joseph edition, and beautiful. I'm glad I got it.
It's the 101 collection right there for you.
Keeps me humble.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, let's talk about. I mean, where can we go on this episode, man? Here on this podcast, for other people that are first time viewers or listeners, we dive into the most randomness topics and just what's going on in the current world, of course, here in the beautiful US of A. So yeah, we're just all about randomness here on this pod. But yeah, so just buckle on in and just enjoy the ride as we cruise on into this episode. But yeah, so let's start obviously with the talk of the town. With obviously we've taken seat of our new president, Donald Trump, for his second term running. Which I can say he's man, the first day into office, that man literally just hit the ground running and signed, I want to say, was it 78 or 79 consecutive
78
orders, right?
I believe was that number. Yeah,
dude, that's insane. He was just like he had a stack of like those binders on his desk, just signing away with like a box of pens, just going at it, answering questions while doing that. So man, I mean, right off top, I mean, can we name some of the things that he signed off on? I know right away, of course, with definitely sending some troops over to the border, of course, securing the border.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, there's a few other. Help me out, Bray.
I got them right. I got them all.
He's like, he knows them all alphabetically.
I think the main thing. The J6ers, he pardoned 1,500 of them who had to deal with the excessive sentencing that they did. They were accused of insurrection in the media when none of them, not one single one, actually got convicted or even charged with insurrection. It was riot. It was no different than the Summer of Love, where BLM and Antifa were going into cities and destroying. I mean, what the J6ers did was a small drop compared to what was going on during the Summer of Love, where billions in damage was caused. People were killed. And so anyway, so he pardoned 1,500 of them. God bless them. Glad you guys are out. And it wasn't deserved. You guys had the book thrown at you by an unjust DOJ. The justice system failed you. Trump bailed you. None of them will have any of that on their criminal record. So that's huge. That's huge. Another one was a female named Bevelyn Williams, who
the birth control place.
Huh?
The birth control place where she was like talking to God.
Yep, she was a pro-life protester. She was at an abortion clinic protesting, and they locked her up. They gave her 41 months. Trump said, nah.
41 months?
He got that off of her record. She's already home with the family. God bless her. Yeah. Some really big ones. He did something that I didn't think any president would ever do. He is releasing all JFK, all RFK, all MLK files. And I think that we're going to see some dirt on the government in those files. The government's been hiding information. I don't know exactly what we're going to see in the JFK files. I think that there's a lot of people that threw a lot of stuff away. They got rid of a lot of evidence. I mean, they don't even have his skull, I believe. I believe that they don't even have the skull. They don't have, they got rid of everything. So I don't know what we're going to see in that, although there's enough that the government has been hiding. They have just not wanted these files released. They're doing that. Thanks to Donald Trump. And also what a historic moment on that is after he signed that executive order, he gave the pen and he said, hey, make sure Bobby gets this. Ooh. RFK Jr. will have that pen and that evidence or those files will be released. So, that's huge. What else? There's hold on. I might have to refer to my notes here.
It's got like a little thick book like that of just notes you drew.
Yeah.
In cursive too, right? By the way, right?
Yeah. I'm on my fountain pen tip.
A lost font that we lost long ago. I remember in school, man, that was like my go-to thing. I love it. I read a cursive now.
Yeah. This is a good one. Right. Oops, sorry. I love him for this because he promised he'd do it, not gonna stick, but he signed an executive order ending the birthright citizenship.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So that was a promise he made on the campaign trail. He fulfilled that promise. The Supreme Court, I'm sure, will toss it out as unconstitutional. I'm sure it is, but nonetheless, he fulfilled that obligation, that promise. So
he acted on it. I mean, he acted on it, and it's didn't it say like Seattle, Oregon, and some other state are trying to sue that, like trying to stop it from doing it?
Yeah, they're doing. We knew that was going to happen, and but still, perhaps maybe this will spark some future conversations to get Congress more involved to possibly change that, because I think that there is some common sense behind it, and I wouldn't mind if we legitimately passed a birthright citizenship ending that.
Yeah. And speaking on, I wanted to touch base when you were talking about the JFK files, dude. There was a video that they released on X, clearly. And I mean, with what they can do now with technology in general, and I think you might have seen it too. I think I sent it to you actually, where it shows somebody from the front seat, one of the his security intel that was sitting on the driver's side passenger. It looked like, and people can go look this up. It's on X. I mean, it visibly shows him turning around, and he was the one to shoot.
I saw the tape. Yeah. Now, Bill Cooper, in his book Beyond a Pale Horse, he talked about the fact that he was killed. JFK was killed by either the Secret Service or the CIA, people working with the communists. And so I did see that. I've seen other people's take on that. They say that is a reflection of the sun off of his head. So I did see it, tape. But I'm not 100% convinced on that. I feel like with everything, that we've seen, that would have been out there a lot sooner. However, there definitely was more than one shooter. There were more than one. There was more than one caliber in his head. And so the Lee Harvey Oswald story does not hold water with that. He was found with one gun, one caliber, and there were two. So
okay, interesting. Yeah. So I mean, it's over. I mean, it's a lot of files too that they released too with it, right? Too. It's like a lot of paperwork that they released. Yeah. And so I mean, people can do their diligence just to go and dig in. I'm waiting just for someone to give like a breakdown on everything that's of interest, right? That we can actually bring back here on the pod in a future episode where we can dive in and maybe have like a what is it, a JFK special where we could talk about just strictly the case on how everything happened that day of. If that's something the viewers and listeners want to listen to, or something that they want us to create in regards to an episode, let us know. Drop some comments down on the YouTube when this drops, or just let us know, and we'll go ahead and do that. I mean, that's definitely something as of interest. I remember we've talked about in the past where there's just a lot of things that don't line up right. That was one of the most sketchiest ones. I think I've listened to previous podcasts or podcasts in the past talking about that specific incident where just things were lining up, how like his body was pretty much transported and they moved immediately quickly. There was really no autopsy really done, like to really say like, you know, the damage and all that. Like, it's just crazy stuff, man. A lot of red flags in general. But yeah, so moral of the story is those files are out. MLK files are out too as well. One of the things I remember when he was signing all these executive orders, somebody had asked me about the UAPs that are flying around, and he said he right away said, like, can we find out what those things are, or can we know?
Yeah.
So hopefully he actually flat out lets us know what's going on. I mean, did he ever really hint on what he thinks it is personally?
No, he hasn't made any hint. He other than he thinks it's either us or it's a foreign government.
Okay.
So, but he said that he knows that we know.
Yeah.
But he wants them to tell us.
Okay.
What they know.
Okay, interesting. All right, but yeah, man. I mean, he's already doing work. I'll say that he's already doing his due diligence and actually, you know, going ahead and doing, like, you know, one awesome thing I think he did honestly was with was it the storms that were happening over in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Where it was just demolished in certain areas, right?
Yep.
Where it feels like we just kind of like, it happened, it was on the news, and then we moved forward, and then right now with everything that's going on in California, right?
You got to go with the story too. You can't forget the fact that the reports were coming out that FEMA, the FEMA workers were instructed by their bosses that if there were Trump signs in their yards, they were told to move past them.
Wow.
So they were deliberately overlooked. I think that there's going to be investigations in all this, but
lawsuits probably, maybe.
Hopefully lawsuits.
Dude, that's
hopefully
crazy.
All that. But yeah, so Trump came in and he said, "No, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna fix you." I think JD Vance went down there himself, and so Biden this whole time, all that he had given them was $750, which is, I mean, $750. You lost everything. What is that, right?
That's like a drop, like what is it? A drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Bucket, yeah.
And so JD Vance actually went down there and he worked with the community, and he got a lot of them in housing. So at least now they're not having to stay in tents. They're now in houses. So now they can kind of finally just relax, get their bearings, and figure out how they're going to move forward. So oh man, JD Vance, he's done a number of things already, just himself. I mean, he is really setting himself up to take, you know, because Trump can no longer run after this term. Yeah. So with what JD Vance is doing already, he's already primed to take this over, and he has not let us down yet.
Okay, yeah, I can see that actually. Not because that's one thing. That's a topic of conversation amongst our fellow peers we've had, where, you know, who do we think would be a runner-up once Trump is done with this second term? But in Alabama, correct me if I'm wrong, they were trying to say that they could actually set him up for a third term, or they were trying to talk about something about a third term.
Again, highly unlikely. You know, they took that. They used to be able to run third terms.
Okay.
So it is possible, but again, you need 2/3 of Congress to agree with that, and you know, we have just half of Congress. So we are just over we have a very thin, slight majority. So yeah, to get 2/3 to agree to a third term with Trump. Plus, you know, here's the thing: he's old enough that he really does need. You know, he's going to do so much in this term, but he needs to have the rest of his life to just be able to relax and golf and really just spend some time with his family. And into his old his golden years, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But you're right. Okay, so yeah, that's one thing though that we were asking ourselves, who would be the next person in line to take over on the Republican side. But now that you say JD Vance, I think he would be definitely a good nomination for that. So yeah, I could definitely see that as well. But man, I mean, dude, we talk about just in regards of the president, right? I mean, for me, I guess, in my opinion, it's all about the person that delivers and is about the action. And so far, he's doing a lot of what he said he was going to do. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, like, that's literally the important factor when it comes to, you vote whoever you want to vote for. That's the beauty of living in America. You vote whoever you want to vote for and who fits your best interest. And nonetheless, behold, what Trump is doing right now, he's fulfilling all the stuff that he's been saying on, like, so we're not even through a whole week. Was it a week?
No, not even a week.
A week. And he's already doing all this. I mean,
yeah.
Compare and contrast with the last president we have for the last 4 years. It's like, it's kind of night and day difference. Your opinion? What do you think?
I mean, you saw my FJB hat. I wore that one proudly. I am so honored and so proud to finally just wear my MAGA hat. I've had it for so long, but I'm finally glad I get to wear it because our king is in office. Our king is in office. Thank God for that. Yeah. And not only, it's not just Trump, right? He has put some power players in position. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, right? He just got nominated, and J.D. Vance was the tiebreaker on that one. That was the second time in history that they needed a vice president to break a tie in confirmations like that. So he has Tom Homan as the border czar. In his first week, they have nabbed 1,500 illegal immigrants. And now, these are people that are criminals. That's what they are focusing on. We know that we've seen the stories on the news with, what's that called? The Trace, whatever, Tria de Aqua or whatever that gang is called. They're taking over apartment complexes.
Yeah. The very bad people. Let's just say that. Yeah. The very horrible people. Yeah.
Bad hombres.
There you go. Let's go. Yeah.
So we're getting the bad hombres out, and it's 1,500 of them already, and 300 in just one nap.
Rounding them up, man. Rounding them up.
Tom Homan, props to him for doing that. He's showing that he's not afraid to go into these liberal strongholds, these asylum cities. So they are more than welcome to come to Washington. Seattle, we're waiting for you down here to clean up shop.
I think we want to say that there are some now actively. I think I've been told just with people that I talked to that they've seen like.
I just got a text today saying that there was a raid up in Lake Stevens. So there was an ICE raid up in Lake Stevens. So they got a few up there. So yeah,
speaking of that, hey, it's all about, to me, I see the humor in things and a lot of stuff. Okay. But I wanted to ask you this. There was a post from Borderland Security talking about how you could be eligible for, I think it's like a $750. Oh, buddy. I was like, dude, some people are licking their chops. And I'm just saying, like, it would be funny if like me and you, like, hey, you want to make a quick $750? Bro?
Oh, yeah. There's four of my friends right now. I'm telling them, I'm like, dude, you guys, you better be on your best behavior. Better be on your best behavior.
I need some money for the casino.
Yeah. No, they know I ain't no snitch.
Stick to the code, you know what I'm saying? But unless they don't mess with me.
Right.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, it's unfortunate. There's got to be some people that are probably doing something like that where like they tell their neighbor, if I hear that mariachi band past 9 p.m., I will call, like some type of like, what is it? What would they call that? Some, not bribery, but what's that word I'm looking for?
Extortion?
Extortion type of shit, So yeah, it's but it's crazy. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like,
they got the snitch lineup and everything,
bro.
And I'm not gonna give the phone number out. It's all over the
go
the
find it. It's out there. I mean, if I saw it, I mean, it's out there. I'll just say I saw it on X. That's where I saw it. But that's all I'm gonna say. But no, it's crazy. It's coming down to that. But yeah, the activity is out there. I mean, we have a TikTok account and obviously follows on TikTok. Now that it's according to Trump, he wants to obviously keep it, but in the
thanks Barron for that one. Barron Trump,
dude, that dude is super tall.
Dude, he's 6'9".
He's a freaking giant.
Dude, he ain't playing.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
He's gonna drop that ball in the net every time.
Is crazy, but yeah, that was a move that Trump said that he wants kind of less involvement from China, but more involvement from the U.S. side of things, and there's a lot of people posting kind of like the effects of ICE being around their areas where it's just like night and day difference, where there's just like, you can see the effects of this roundup happening in certain neighborhoods and stuff like that, where it's like it's night and day difference. You know what I'm saying? So
I saw a post on X where it was in California somewhere. They were showing their Walmart and how
there's like nobody there, right?
It was just it was quiet. It was clean. There was nobody messing around in that Walmart. Everybody was on their best behavior.
Chin up.
Amazon's getting a lot more business, I'll tell you that.
Dude, that is crazy. Yeah, dude. So yeah, but in regards to when we're talking about Barron Trump, because we were talking about how tall he was, whatever, he played a pivotal key role in getting his dad elected.
Yes, he did.
Because he had his ear to the street in regards to like the stuff that he, but that's the crazy thing right here. Think about it. His son pretty much gave him the playbook of the moves that he thinks that his dad should make in order to get
podcast,
TikTok. But more importantly, the podcast realm, he went ahead and touched bases and just was connecting the dots with all these podcasters that are around, the younger age voters.
Yeah,
where
he won the youth vote.
He did. Yep. And it's crazy to think, right, where, I mean, dude, do you think would it have been played different had his son not said anything? Do you think if that wouldn't have happened? Because if you're saying he had the younger vote by like a large margin, do you think that would have played a pivotal role for?
I think it did, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because this was the first election that Republicans got the majority vote, because we have the Electoral College, right?
Yeah.
But normally when the Republican wins, they never get the majority of voters vote, the popular vote. And so they got the majority popular vote. And in large part, that was because of those podcasts. Those podcasts reached out to Hispanic communities, Black communities, and the youth of all communities. So it was a beautiful thing how it worked out. It was beautiful.
No, it was just interesting to see him with Theo Vaughn and the Nelk boys. He's been on there before, and just he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, of course. Yeah. But
I was thinking of Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he goes so raw, and Trump, he just sits there and he laughs. Yeah. That was funny. Oh my god,
yeah, dude, he's a character. I like Theo, man, because he just asks questions like they come out, just whatever, and he just builds conversation around just the most randomest things. But yeah, man, but it was cool to see that side of him, right? Because you kind of show him for who the person that he really is, aside from for the political side, from the businessman side, but it was just showing like the person that he was, just asking, like having a conversation like we are right now, right?
They broke down those walls of the Rachel Maddows and the liberal left wing media that tried to paint him as a fascist, as a racist, as a literally Hitler. He was able to break those walls down and expose who he really has been his entire life. The Donald Trump who took a picture with Muhammad Ali that has helped so many people of color. There's so many stories. I mean, and the thing is he's helped everybody. It's not just people of color, not just white people. He has helped everybody. And people finally got to see that side of him in this election cycle.
Yeah, there was this one interview he was doing where this gentleman, I forget, I need to get these specific names out just so people could do just their due diligence to look these people up. But he was talking to Trump and kind of having that one-on-one interview, and he was saying, I was once like a believer, thinking that you were this type of person that they painted you out to be, a racist and all this. But he's like, I have a list of names here that you've helped in the past where you never really asked for a notoriety of like that you did this or even gone to the news to say that you did this. You just did this out of the kindness of just who you are as a person and helped all of these people.
Yep.
And I'm like, so where are the people saying now that he's this type of dude where it's like, the type of person that helps out people just because he can, he just doesn't say anything about it? I think those are like one of the best people because they don't want, like, I don't want nothing from it. I'm just a good guy that if I can help you, I'll help you out.
Yep.
And just that's what it is, right? And we'll leave it at that. I don't need to be asking for, any favors in return or whatever. I'm just helping the person out because it's just the way I am. So he did that. And it's like, there's evidence out there where it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess people, you got to find out for you to really know the truth in things. Go ahead and just see everything for really what it is and not these like clips. Because the next question I want to ask that goes into this is, do you think media now is done in regards to just how they try to paint a certain narrative in regards to their own agenda or for their own benefit to paint things a certain way so they can look a certain way? Do you think the news is done completely because of the way when Elon Musk was saying that the news is you guys that are on the forefront?
Well, they're going bankrupt.
Yeah.
They're going bankrupt with their current model. And they still haven't learned it yet because you can still turn on CNN. You can still turn on MSNBC. You can still turn on ABC and CBS. CBS, I think, is... they want to settle now with Trump a $10 billion lawsuit that he filed on them because they were taking Kamala Harris's interview and they were slicing and editing it in a way that she did not actually speak the way that she was speaking. And he said that's election interference. That you cannot do that.
Yeah.
And so now there was another. I think CNN. They did. There was a not libel, but what's that?
Liability.
What
is it? Liability?
It's not libel. Libel is where you write, but when you say it, I forget the term. But anyway, they had disparaged a young, I want to say he was in the armed services. They had said something about him when he was in war, whatever, and then it was all lies, but they went with the story anyway. And so he took them to court, and he got paid millions for that one. And so judges are seeing that they're doing all this stuff, and so they had to pay that big fine. So that's probably why CBS said, "Okay, let's settle this, Mr. President Donald J. Trump," and so we'll see how that goes. But the media is definitely on notice for they can't do that stuff anymore, and but I think that their ratings have just cratered. We have seen more layoffs with these platforms than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Because people are tuning them out. People are going to TikTok. People are going to social media. People are going to smaller, more independent journalists to get their news because they realize they've been gaslit this entire time. And once you've been lied to, it leaves a sting. You know, it leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you're like, man, you just lied to me this whole time. How much more are you going to lie to me? So they've lost the trust of the people. And so they really have to work from that. They have to get the trust back.
And I think that's the biggest thing, right? Where if they were to fix that, how would we put this? How people get their news, right? I think things would be a little bit more different. The playing field would be a little bit more leveled because, I mean, the way we consume just in general, content or whatever, it's got to be like shortened down to a couple seconds to a minute or, something like that, because a lot of the times it's like, do you really think people now, especially now, are going to sit there and watch like a full length broadcast of the news, right? Where now people are cutting clips or making clips or just putting certain things up where, okay, this is what's important. People need to pay attention to this, and that's that, put it out. Because now you're saying you have a lot of people that are doing independent journalism, like Andrew on Channel 5 News. He's doing this thing where he makes it entertaining, but he's going out there and actually delivering from what he actually sees on the forefront and just giving to the people how it is, right?
Yeah.
But it's what I'm trying to say is, though, that now we have all these platforms where, to really find out what's going on in certain events, like there's people there at that moment able to, take their phone, record, and then upload it. Because a lot of the times, because, I do editing for a podcast, and there's certain things you can see, from first-hand glance where you can tell certain things are like edited. For example, today I was watching this clip of, because I was watching this full video of Gavin Newsom and then the other gal, I forgot her name.
Karen Bass
talking to Trump, and there was like a full length video of the conversation that we're having between them two. And my example is like on Gavin's on his X account, he only showed like a couple seconds of a good interaction with Trump, but then it shows like I go to the full length video and it's a whole completely different thing. So it's like, why is it that you try to show the good things? Show the reality of it, where what's the conversation between you two? Because I'm sure as hell, no, he's not too happy with you on how you're handling the situation. But that's my point. We're so blindsided for the things they just want to show you, and that's my biggest problem with this whole thing. They want you to see the only stuff they want you to see. That's it. They don't want to show you everything else, the full-blown reality of certain things that happen, transpire then and there. And that needs to stop completely. You know what I'm saying? But
you're dead on with that. And I think, you get someone like a Gavin Newsom that their ego is so bloated, they can't do that. They're incapable of doing that. And so that's where the voters have to see this stuff themselves. And I mean, like Karen Bass, they're talking about doing a recall on her, getting her out of there. And she's already lied to the people. Trump was down there and she said that, the people can go back to their house, because people just want to go back to their houses. They want to look at all their stuff. Is there anything salvageable? What am I dealing with? And and she said, okay, yeah, people can go back to their houses. I've been scouring X today, and people that are in that area, the victims, they said that no, she lied to them that they cannot go back to their house. She lied. And so these politicians are continuing to lie. They're just not learning. They're not learning. And so it's going to take the people to get them out of the way. And we have so much power. We saw this with the MAGA movement. All it takes, you get someone like, what's his name? Scott Pressler in Pennsylvania that rallied to get that Pennsylvania vote. He went out and reached into the Amish communities and got the Amish support. You know what I mean? He did so much. So California needs that. And you guys are ripe for that. California, you are a beautiful state, a beautiful people. You guys have just so much good going for you, but you have the worst government. You have people that are lying to you. You have people that are clipping little clips and showing you only what they want you to see. You're being duped. You're being lied to. You need to change that. And you can change that. You all have the power. Someone needs to rise and be that leader and get this thing moving forward.
Yeah, the beauty, like I said, once again, with social media is at the beginning when all this was happening, right, with the fires in California, is there was this lady, I think she was a journalist or she was like a news anchor, where she was like, trying to catch up with Gavin, and she was asking him like, what are we going to do about this? Like, what is your next plan to fix all of this? And he's trying to, like, it looks like he's just trying to get away from her, not answer all these questions, but it's like, dude, you
can't handle the pressure.
Oh man.
Nope.
It's like, what can you do as a person that so far, I mean, you could have prevented all this. And what's funny, even Trump said that I've already told you what you would need to do for you to prevent all this happening, but you chose not to listen, and you don't have water in those reservoirs. Like, you should.
They don't have the water. They should have been burning some of that underbrush.
Yeah.
That underbrush, that's fuel for a wildfire. Yeah. And they used to do controlled burns where they would get all that underbrush out of the way and then burn it, do these controlled burns. So when a wildfire came, it was very limited to what they could do. But now, California, that again, the gaslight is, we have to save this smelt. We have to save this fish.
It's like a little fish, like this.
Just a little fish. And Trump told them, you guys are saving a fish. What, you don't need to. There's smelt all over. It's not an endangered species. We have it all over. So that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
You gotta turn. And he was talking about going up to Canada and getting that water routed all the way to California, because that's where that's common sense solution needs to happen.
So I think it's time to put our little conspiratorial hats on. So I don't know if you've heard the reasons on why they were like, why this was pretty much like, again, this is going just on what I see on X. I mean, don't quote me on this, people. I'm just, we like to bring this stuff to the forefront to see if there's anybody has heard the same thing from what I've seen myself. But, all this land and stuff that, these houses burned on and everything, that they were trying to like build, not homes, but build like apartment complexes and stuff so they could
15-minute cities.
Yeah. Okay, so you heard about
smart
this.
cities.
So explain this, to kind of give a rundown on kind of the conspiracy behind that.
So the World Economic Forum is behind this concept called a smart city or a 15-minute city, where what they want to do is eliminate vehicles. They want to eliminate private vehicle ownership. And so their concept is to put you all in cities where everything you need is within 15 minutes. So you can get you from your apartment, they'll stack you all up in apartments. And if you need to go to the doctor, 15 minutes, grocery store, 15 minutes, school, 15 minutes, anywhere you need to go within 15 minutes. They have that in China. And what they do in China is they literally monitor your every movement. And so eventually, the eventual goal, you talk about tinfoil hat here, is those will eventually, as the future progresses, become basically open prisons, where now, right now it's just like, hey, you have everything you need within 15 minutes. Aren't we great? Well, in the future, because they don't want you traveling and they don't want you doing, having your own private vehicle, you'll need permits to leave that city. So again, open city or open prisons, that is constant surveillance. And then at that point, you just usher in a social credit score. And next thing you know, we're China. Gavin Newsom has been extremely friendly with Xi Jinping in China, the communist dictator over there, and as well as Justin Trudeau. But yeah, that's the concept behind the smart cities, the 15-minute cities.
So yeah, that another thing that's to add to that. Yeah, man. I mean, if they're trying to really replicate what's going on in China, I mean, it's I've seen it firsthand where there's like videos of somebody jaywalking. That's an automatic deduction in your credit score, or worse, you can't get into your own apartment, or you can't do you can't do certain things, right? So it's kind of like they punish you for doing even the most like basic crimes, I guess, right, or whatever. But
you can have your money, but you can't spend it.
That's crazy.
Money stays frozen in your account.
But that makes the most sense, right? Because it's like, who owns those apartment complexes and who would own those complexes in general? It's like they're gonna try to cycle in the money. But man, I mean, if you think about that whole incident, bro, it's like, how do you think? I mean, people lost their homes, bro.
And they lost everything. I mean,
how are we gonna? How do you think they would be able to get that rebuilt and everything? Also, another crazy thing, isn't it kind of weird that 2 months before or 3 months before this happened, the insurance companies cut off their what is it?
Their coverage.
Their coverage, right? Before that happened, don't we find that a little weird, Brett? I don't know.
I think here's the thing: insurance companies. I don't think it's as big of a conspiracy. I think that insurance companies they pay millions of dollars for top-notch data, and so the writing was on the wall. Insurance companies knew this was a sure thing, that this was going to happen. They look at the risk of danger, and that place was ripe for risk. So they were just doing what their algorithms were telling them, and that's Gavin Newsom wasn't willing to compensate the state end. They weren't willing to help them out if they were to keep coverage there. So they just said, okay, we're out. We're not covering this, which is just horrific. I mean, it's just horrific that they just made that decision. They made that decision though because their data told them that, okay, the leadership in California isn't working with us. We have to pull out.
That's crazy. So all those years, and this is where I find it's like the most scam of a thing, is that a person that's paying X amount of dollars every month for their house to get insured from, natural disasters, whether if it's a fire or a flood or whatever, but to find out they cancel it, or you don't have a policy anymore for 2 months or 3 months after it had canceled, or you don't have anything at all. So it's like, why is it that, as a person, if I were at a home and it just got cremated, it's insane to think, like, so all those years I paid the money, and for them to cancel out at that last minute, what do I get from it?
Right.
All that money for what?
And
it's such a scam, dude. It
absolutely is.
It's crazy.
I think insurance companies should pay back that money.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To all those people. But 100%. I also think that, and I don't care if it takes a lawsuit. I don't care what it takes. But this was obviously, everybody knows that this was a failure of leadership on the behalf of the state of California. So I think the state of California is obligated to rebuild all of these houses.
Yeah.
Anybody who lost a house due to that cutting of insurance, due to California's inept leadership of taking care, providing, leaving fire hydrants empty of water, doing all of this. This was a failure on counties, cities, and the governor himself. This was a failure on all leadership levels. You owe the people of California who lost their homes a new house on your dime.
That is, yeah. I mean, so where would that money come from if they say California's gonna be held responsible for that? Where would that money come from in order to build those houses? Like
protecting illegal immigrants. Okay. They think that they're going to be an asylum city, so they have all this money ready for lawsuits and all this and that. That's the first place you could take it from. Okay. They have so much pork spending in California. If they took all of those, I don't care. It could be DEI. It could be abortion clinic money. It could be. They have so much money for so many left-wing ideology, principle, whatever policies, programs, that they need to take that money and put it in the hands of Californian victims wildfire victims.
It's like all that money too that just went missing out of the homeless crisis is still going on there. Somehow, like they had like a X $200-300 million. It somehow just vanished, and they were asking like, where did this go? Like, what was done with this money, and where did it go?
What was that?
Like there was money that they were given for the homelessness issue that we're having, and somehow there was like a $200 million or $300 million dollars it just went missing. They don't know. They can't account for it.
Wow.
I'm like, well, so it's also like the Pentagon too, that they somehow don't know how much X money that supposedly they sent to Ukraine.
$2.2 trillion.
They don't know where it went.
Yeah.
But hey, Brett, we need to know why you're sending $500 a year through Zelle to this person.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Insane. That's oh, dude. Don't even get started on that, bro.
No, I'm glad you said that because that's a good segue to another thing.
Okay.
And the fact that under the Biden administration, the Biden regime, he employed 87,000 IRS agents and gave them guns to enforce people on like PayPal or whatever that were getting more than $600. Daddy Trump today went to Las Vegas and said another campaign promise, no tax on tips. What he also said was that he was going to take those 87,000 IRS agents and move them over to become border agents. So
it's like, looks like you signed up for this, but it's gonna change. That job description is gonna change real quick.
so again, he's really looking out for the American people, and I don't care if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you are gonna benefit if you don't have 87,000 IRS agents breathing down your neck for that more than $600 that you made on OfferUp or whatever, eBay or whatever digital platform that the Biden communist regime tried to box you in with and intimidate you with 87,000 new armed IRS agents.
That's you people. Whatever side, like I said, remember this. We say it like it is. Whatever money you're making, they have those people eyeing your money for how you spend it. Hey, I'm saying it's going to benefit all of us at the end of the day, right? So that's insane. 88,000 people just to do that.
Yeah, and then the other cool thing he did, and I'm seeing a lot of pissed off federal employees. They're going to X like looking for sympathy. You ain't finding it with me, but they're pissed because Trump signed an executive order ordering all of them to go back to work, go back to the office, no more remote work. And I'm seeing so much boo-hoo. Yeah, cry me a river. Go back to work and support those little coffee stands and all the little, communities, small businesses. Go back and support all them. You haven't been doing it. You've been just sitting at home, working it and sending emails in your underwear and living off Amazon all day. So guess what? Give us some tax revenue back. Help out those small businesses and come back to work. We miss you.
Oh man, dude, it's the one I'm really looking forward to if it's gonna happen. I mean, the no tax on tips, that's cool.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But the one about no tax on overtime.
Yeah, is that gonna happen?
I really hope, bro.
I work a lot of overtime.
Oh, dude, it would be for us. I would say we would see a lot of changes between me and Brett here. And, if you see us in a new studio, you'll know what happened. You know why?
You know what's up. You know what's up. Yo, see this? See this right here? Yo, it's going to be double in size, and it's going to be on both wrists. And there's going to be some shiny on there. That's all I'm saying. Not cubic zirconia. We're talking hard rocks. Hard rocks.
And he's, those glasses, he's going to be wearing some Cartier sunglasses with the diamonds embedded in.
Yeah, brands I ain't even heard of. I'll be looking like a Saudi prince.
Just everything made out of gold, dude. Oh, bro. I mean, so on the realistic side of things, is that really one thing that could potentially happen? I know. Let's go through the things that were like, dang, never thought we would see the day if this really happens. But for one, to stick on the subject, the no tax on overtime. Would that have to really do? Because I'm asking questions because I genuinely want to know, because I'm the type of guy where it's like, I know the base of just from what he said, the promises he's making. But
yes, it can happen.
So would this go in hand with the tariffs of him?
Yes.
Would that kind of coincide, I guess, with that? Okay. Yep. So explain that kind of just like in brief summary. You don't got to go into like major detail.
Yeah. Basically, country, we get a lot of our merch, a lot of our stuff from overseas. So when they come here, there will be a 25% tariff. Usually, I think that's the going rate. that they have to pay the government 25% to be able to sell their stuff here. If they don't want to pay that, then we can start those factories back up in this country again. More jobs, more employment for Americans. And then so with that, I mean, we're talking billions of dollars in tax revenue. You can alleviate some of that pressure on the American tax base.
Yeah.
By not having to tax tips, not having to tax overtime.
Oh man.
Yep.
Just the sound of it, dude. It's like, damn, it'd be like a dream come true. And also, the one thing he's really trying to go to is abolishing the IRS too, right?
I don't know. I would love it. I would love it. But I mean, I don't know. I would love it. But I don't know. That seems like a tall order.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it seems like just as tall of an order, maybe a little bit less tall than ending the birthright citizenship. Yeah. But I mean, close second to ending the birthright citizenship, but I would love it. I mean, people like Wesley Snipes would love it because he did prison for not paying taxes.
A lot of people would benefit from it.
Weezy F Baby would love it because he got caught slipping on his taxes.
That would be. Dang, like I said, we'd be living in a different country, honestly, bro, if all those things happen.
Oh, yeah.
It would completely 180 this whole thing. But, I mean, time will tell, bro. I mean, we're on a ride for 4 years of him being president. And, the results will speak for themselves. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's really about the results. If in the end it benefits you, your family, your peers and all that, what's really there to say? Honestly, if it's the benefit in a positive way for everybody in this country, what's there to say about it? You know what I'm saying?
But there is a lot of money to be made for people who want to separate us.
Yeah.
We just saw the BLM founders. I guess she had lost one of her mansions in the fire. Yeah. So she lost one of her mansions, but she bought like 3 mansions. With that money, something like that. Somewhere I know she had at least 2, maybe 3 though.
3 mansions. Why?
But I mean, it was just like it was a total grift.
Yeah,
total grift, and did not help the people that she said she was going to help.
Yeah.
But Trump is. Trump's like, hold my Diet Coke.
Right.
Let me cook.
Right.
Let him cook.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. It's like you would think an organization would be the ones to really help the people and be for the people, but then it's like you see Trump helping, legitimately helping.
Trump is helping communities that had their own grifters stealing from their own base.
That's insane.
And he's doing it for free. He's just like, nah, I'll do this for free. This is gonna help everybody.
Hey,
that's the beautiful thing.
You know what the craziest turnaround too that you see where it's like, man, it feels like it's gonna be different. You had Putin even say like he was ready to talk to Trump to really de-escalate everything that's going on in the Ukraine and really call for peace. And correct me if I'm wrong, unless you saw the same thing, denuclearization on both ends.
Do what?
Denuclearization, like
I don't know. I didn't hear that part. I wouldn't.
This comes from X.
I wouldn't. We've shown that this country is capable of having people like Biden in here that are just foaming at the mouth to take over Russia and to put them. So if I were Putin, I would definitely not get rid of one nuke.
But
I wouldn't do that.
But the important thing of what I'm trying to say too as well, but he's ready to come to the forefront and really kind of put a stop to all this madness, because think about it, like it's been how many years since when this all started, right, between the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. We were talking about how they were thinking that this war was supposed to be like a kind of like a walk through the park type deal, right?
Well, they thought.
And look how far it's extended to. And I think at this point, like, Trump said he would end it, and it seems like that's kind of one of his things on his priority to end it, right?
Yep.
But let's just say that, right? If that ended, let's talk about everything that's happening with Gaza and all that. I mean, what are the people going to say now at that point? If there's no war, there's no conflict, and we're rebuilding what we got going on here, it's kind of like a slam dunk, don't you think?
Yeah.
Insane,
I mean, but some people don't want peace. Some people want the world to burn, and some people make a lot of money with that rhetoric. So where greed is there, grifters will follow.
Yeah, that's a bar. Is that off top?
That's right off the top.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, it's like It's like you rap, we don't try to rap. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks to Zen and my coffee.
Like, sipping on coffee.
Not a commercial, not an endorsement.
No endorsement, nothing. We're just, we're just showing you what we're on today. Yeah, I got a little energy drink. I'm not gonna say their names. We're not sponsored, but one day, we'll fly it. You'll see a stack of them here on the table. But yeah, man, it's gonna be very interesting. I'll say that. I mean, I'm just ready for change, bro. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just ready for change. I'm ready to see something that's gonna benefit the people and have us be a prosperous country and be just a powerhouse that we once were. I want to see the eagle fly high. Just let those colors shine bright, dude. You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to say, I'm in my MAGA drip, and but we are in Washington State, real close to Seattle, so we are in like the anus of the beast here down here. We have a newly elected governor, Bob Ferguson, who he's working on, if it's not signed already, laws that can basically, if someone even deems something a hate crime, they can come at you and charge you. So what I'm saying is, and it's in the interpretation of what they're going to call the victim here. So if you are someone who says, say they deem the term illegal immigrant as a hate crime in this state, then they could lock me up and throw away the key.
That's insane.
And then and if they did that, right? If I become a political prisoner, then I'm gonna wear my MAGA hat all the way to that prison cell, and just to show the world what we're dealing with in Washington State. So, if we need the federal government to come in and clean house, so be it. But if Bob Ferguson thinks he's going to do that, I'm, like I said, a lot of other patriots, we're going to wear our MAGA hats all the way into the prison cell, and we'll run that yard.
So automatically, to put this into simplest terms, if someone were to say that, like, hey, that hat offends me, I think that's hate all over it.
Yep.
I feel offended, and I'm going to charge you for that.
And so, yes,
that's crazy.
And so even if
if
it doesn't win in court, it's still going to cost us money to hire attorneys. They're still going to impact us financially for that. And that's ultimately the goal with them. They just want to bankrupt as many people who are against the Bob Ferguson regime as they can. And so that's why, if I've got to be a martyr for that, then I just want MAGA to know, and just Americans in general to know, that there are people in the anus of the beast still willing to stand up for American freedoms, and that's what we're not going anywhere. And we know where we're at. We know what we're up against, and we're gonna stand up for our values, for our principles, for our beliefs.
I just want to be free, man. Just fucking let it ride. Let it fucking rain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, want to be free. Free country. The land of the free, is like they say, right?
Lock me up and throw away the key. My boy over here, he just wants to be free.
No, dude, we're gonna be both flying eagles, dude, just fucking flying all over the sky, bro. But bro, so I don't think Brad's gonna make it on this one, so we probably won't see him until the next episode. It seems like, but fuck, we're doing it. But to wrap things up, I know there's a couple things that we wanted to touch base just as a little fast segment here where we just talk about some crazy stuff that's happened aside from the political stuff, because it's a big thing. Of course, we were wanting to talk about this because obviously it's been a while since we've done an episode first and foremost, and we're just kind of trying to play catch up with everything that's going on. And it's just kind of hard to find time to come together and do this type of stuff, because we love doing this. We love coming to the forefront, talking about everything that's going on, and just discussing it with you folks, and just kind of, bringing this conversation forward to show you that it's like, we can have these conversations about it, just as two people here, just, getting together, just, laughing, having a good time and talking about it. And it's crazy to me that even now, like growing up, like just talking in politics, when I was younger, it's like, it wasn't this aggressive where it's like, if you were to say you're on the opposing side or whatever, it's like nowadays, like people just want to jump to your neck and just, pretty much like automatically label you, something already, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But we want to narrow that down to, it's like, if it's something that you guys agree with that we talk about, cool. If it's something that you dislike about it, cool. You're free to choose whatever you want to believe in and what you want to like. At the end of the day, hey, we just kind of want to show you kind of what we think about it and bring this to the forefront, because the more we bring these conversations up to the forefront and talk about it, the more people can see like, maybe the political subject's really not that crazy. We don't really gotta jump at each other's throats. You know what I'm saying? We can have these civil kickback laid conversations and just learn from it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll learn something from one another. And that's just kind of how we move forward as a civilization too. Because if we're always at each other's necks, like, how are we gonna make progress? Yep. How are we gonna move forward, right?
And having a platform such as this brings us to the digital town square, where we can have that dialogue. We can have disagreements and work those disagreements out, iron those issues, and move forward together, hand in hand. And that's really what the whole Trump MAGA movement has had to do this whole time. They've been up against a lot of people, but because they finally got to get rid of that censorship by Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, he's no longer on X. Elon Musk bought that. Yep. So they totally, once they got that censorship out of the way, they could finally tell that story. And it won a lot of people's votes. It won a lot of people's hearts and minds. And that's why it's so important to have that digital town square to have that dialogue.
For sure. Agreed. So some fast topics right off rip. Did you hear about the egg-shaped UFO and the gentleman that retrieved it or was part of that retrieval? Jake, I'm going to see if his full name. Jake Barber. He was a U.S. Air Force veteran / he's a UFO whistleblower. Have you seen anything on that?
I did see it. Yeah.
So initial thoughts.
Whistleblower. He's. I haven't heard anybody going against him. I've heard people saying it sounds credible. That it's the most clear image that they've seen.
Yeah.
With that, yeah.
All I got to say is they're talking about it's an egg. If it's an egg, there's something that's in it. What is it? What's in it? We don't know. So this is the type of stuff that's kind of, it could be a chicken, especially the eggs are really hard to come by with the recall that's going on. Ugh. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, no, I didn't know that.
So, but no, it's insane. It's insane. We're living in a time where the conversation's finally getting out about UAPs, UFOs, and this is just another credible source that says, like, I was part of a retrieval program. These things do exist.
Yeah.
Are we reverse engineering this stuff? It seems like it is. So, and Lou Elizondo said that this is the gentleman that's seen all this stuff too as it's happening, and he's talked to all these whistleblowers that he's saying in due time that there's going to be other fellow whistleblowers that are going to come out and talk about their experiences and what they've been in on. So, I mean, dude, it's really insane to think, like, here we are years ago, we were talking about how, it was just kind of like a silly topic to talk about, right? Where it wasn't really nothing of seriousness.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast about this, and then on the podcast it was on X, actually. It was X Spaces, and they were talking about how aliens are biological robots made to look like us. So I'm listening to X Spaces. I'm sitting there drawing. So I drew a picture of like an alien, a gray, right, and then a picture of a kid looking up at him, pointing at the alien, saying, "Dude looks just like me." Then right next to that, I drew a little spaceship, landing, and I wrote "Made in America" on the little side of the spaceship.
Dang, I mean, they're trying to like make all these crazy human-like robots. I mean, Tesla's involved with it. I mean, I know China's involved with it too. They're trying to make their own. So I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, it could be a possibility, but just the mere fact that it's technologies that have to do with anti-gravity, so they say, it's just a lot of crazy, like just crazy technology that they have or what we have or whatever, but it's these things that exist that we didn't think were even a possibility. It's real.
If anti-gravity, what was the word that they were using? Gravital? Something,
I'm not sure.
A term. But anyway, if it's real, right, and it looks like it probably is, they figured it out. Someone's figured it out. The government figured it out. But I think the reason why they're suppressing that truth is because they know that once GM and Ford and Tesla has their hands on this, no more gas. We don't have to buy gas. It's free. Free energy. Can you imagine? So no more gas. no more electricity bill, no more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the economy goes right down the chute.
Oil would be just losing money like left and right.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing they're going to need oil for is Gavin Newsom's hair gel. You know?
He always keeps that thing slicked back.
And I think that he could support the industry with, you know, the way his hair looks. But yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm going to read a little quote. John McAfee said once, quote, so what he said, I donated laptops to the government that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I found out that administrators of national defense and immigration were the biggest drug and human traffickers.
I saw that.
Yeah. So did you hear the latest rumor that he might be alive?
I heard. Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Go ahead. Do you, I mean,
faking your own death nowadays,
take us back to where he died and how he died and the whole 9 yards.
So he pretty much was saying, right? I mean, just I really don't know like a lot of what happened when he took himself out, supposedly, right? Or someone took him out.
So yeah, okay, we got to talk about this. So he was on the run from the feds, right? And so he was going from country to country that he was trying to stay in countries that didn't have any extradition laws with the United States. However, he ended up in Spain, and Spain was supposed to protect him. He was supposed to be safe in Spain, and yet the government said, no, we want him. So Spain authorities arrested him, took him to jail. He had a tattoo called Whacked. And he basically said that if he dies, he's not suicidal. If he dies, it's because he got whacked. And so lo and behold, he goes the way of Epstein and made to look like he offed himself in prison. He hung himself, killed himself, took himself out, unalived himself. I guess that's the term they're using. And so he did that supposedly. And then everything just went quiet. And so one thing he said, though, at the time was that if he did get whacked, there was an automatic kill switch that he put in that would, if he ended up dead, unalived, the kill switch would engage and then all this information would be released. That's where people started calling his bluff because he did end up getting unalived, whether he got whacked or he did it himself. We don't know for sure. And the information did not get released, or they got in the way to prevent it from release, whatever. So that's where we're at. So that's what had happened. There hasn't been a peep until this week, and when his X page all of a sudden made a post
of him kind of just chilling around where there's like the noise canceling kind of padding, you know, he's behind that as a video of what I saw, and he's just there with some sunglasses just kicking back. Crazy. If he's alive, dude, you know how crazy that would be?
Man.
That's going to be an episode within itself, just talking about everything 100%. That he's talked about. But yeah, that was crazy. And I don't know. Do you want to leave off on that? I mean,
it takes me on a segue.
Okay.
So he was crypto related, whatever. Another pardon, big deal was I forget the guy's name.
He ran that page, right?
Silk Road. He the founder of Silk Road.
The White Silk Road? Is it the West Silk Road? The White Silk Road or something like that?
No, this digital whatever is for Bitcoin, where he was a libertarian who felt like, okay, we need freedom. And so I'm going to build a platform where you can use Bitcoin as the currency, and you can post whatever you want to sell. And it's just that the currency is Bitcoin. So he was the one that introduced and implemented a use case, a real world use case for Bitcoin. Exchanging Bitcoin. So that would give it its value. And so it ended up being a platform. But unfortunately, there were some bad actors on that platform who were, doing all kinds of illegal activities, illicit activities, selling anything from drugs to murder for hire types of services, and people were using it. So what they did, the federal government, they raided him and they gave him, I want to say 2 consecutive life terms.
That's insane.
So Trump came in and pardoned him, gave him a full pardon. It's now completely off his record. So that's a big one. So now the one we're waiting for now is my boy
Snowden, right?
Edward Snowden.
Woo, that would be crazy.
Waiting for him.
Snowden, and I would want them on big platform podcasts to talk about everything.
Oh, it would be amazing.
Or you're more than welcome to jump on our podcast. You're more than welcome. We'll send the invitation out.
Yes, that invitation is open.
Have a kick-ass conversation, talk about the good and the bad and the conspiratorial, the truth. So that would be crazy. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. A lot of things, man. Definitely, we're gonna try to be consistent. Just talk about all this craziness that's happening within this world. But yeah, brother. I mean, is that it?
I think we nailed it.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this one up. Sucks that Brad's not here on this one, but he'll be back on the next one too. So just a reminder, go check us out on all major streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We are everywhere. If you want to check out our socials, we're on Instagram, Beyond Expectation Podcast, and we're also on TikTok, Beyond Expectation Pod for now until this whole thing is resolved. So hopefully it doesn't go anywhere and hopefully the US controls it. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, we're gonna catch you on the next one. Take care. We love you. Until next time. Peace.